I once shacked up with this health freak roommate in a roach motel of an apartment off Hollywood Boulevard. The kind of place where the walls sweated regret and the carpet was a petri dish for broken dreams. His name was Eddie or something like it. Didn't matter, because he looked like a goddamn weasel with a mouthful of snaggled teeth, the kind that poked out like crooked tombstones in a forgotten graveyard. Eddie was all about purity, you know. Oat bran for breakfast, lunch, and those long soul-sucking afternoons when the sun baked the city into a fever dream. He'd grind that shit in a blender till it turned to paste, then choke it down with a chaser of wheatgrass juice that smelled like somebody pissed in a hospital corridor. The whole place reeked of it, medical dung like the bowels of a vet's office after a mass neutering. I'd come home from slinging drinks at some dive bar stinking of cheap whiskey and cheaper regrets, and there he'd be perched on the sagging couch like a monk in exile, lecturing me on cholesterol and the evils of red meat. Man, he'd say, his voice all high and pious, like he was reciting from the Book of Kale. You gotta clean up your act, that liver of yours is a ticking bomb. One day it'll blow and you'll be begging for a bran muffin. I'd laugh, light a smoke, and blow the cloud right in his face, watching his nostrils flare like a rabbit sensing the fox. Eddie didn't touch the sauce, didn't chase skirts, didn't even glance at the pinups taped to the fridge door. Cookies, cake, forget it. Poison, he'd spit. White flour and sugar, it's suicide on a plate. I believed him mostly because who wouldn't in that haze of his? He was skinny as a switchblade, veins popping like blue rivers under paper skin, eyes clear as a priest's conscience. Me, I was the fat slob in the equation, nursing hangovers with black coffee and yesterday's regrets. Then my old lady, God rest her doughy soul, shows up one Sunday with a lemon cake. Not some box mix bullshit, but the real deal, golden crust flaking like autumn leaves, icing tart as a slap from a jealous lover, that citrus bite hitting you in the back of the throat like a promise of summer in hell. She'd baked it in her tiny kitchen up in Van Nuys, the one with the oven that belched smoke like a chain smoker quitting cold turkey. For you, baby, she says, planting a lipstick smear on my cheek, her eyes darting around the dump like she's casing a joint. Eddie hovers in the doorway, sniffing the air like a dog in heat, his snaggles glinting under the bare bulb. Normally, I wouldn't want anything like this, he says, but his voice cracks a little like thin ice under a drunk's boot. How about a bite, just to be polite, you know? I wasn't keen on it. Hell, that cake was my one good thing in a week of slop and solitude. But I carved off a slice for him, thin as a whore's promise, and took a fat wedge for myself. We sat there in the dim light, forks scraping like accusations, and damn if that first bite didn't explode in my mouth, sweet and sour tang, the kind that makes you forget the rent's due or the boss's leer. I savored it slow, letting the crumbs melt on my tongue, thinking maybe Eddie's got a point about purity, but purity tastes like sawdust and salvation. I finished mine, licked the plate clean as a confessor's slate, and eyed the rest on the counter. Half a cake still, gleaming like contraband, a second helping, why the fuck not? Life's too short for half measures, but I look and it's gone vanished like a mirage in the desert of my shitty existence. And there, in the corner by the fire escape, is Eddie, my holier-than-thou brand-gobbling saint, scarfing it down like an ape in rut, face smeared yellow, icing dripping down his chin onto that threadbare t-shirt with a faded "Run for your life" slogan. His eyes were wild, pupils blown wide as black holes, snaggles buried in the wreckage like a miner gone mad in a gold rush. He didn't even chew, just shoveled it in, grunting low in his throat, the cake disappearing faster than my paycheck on payday. You son of a bitch! I roar, lunging across the room, but he's already bolting, fork in one hand, plate clutched to his chest like a shield, the other half of the cake tumbling in crumbs behind him. He runs like a coward, zigzagging through the alley out back, past the overflowing dumpsters and the winos nursing their brown bags, his sneakers slapping wet pavement. I chase for a block, maybe two, lungs burning like I'd inhaled the whole pack of Luckies at once, but he's gone, swallowed by the neon haze, that pimple-faced liar vanishing into the anonymous sprawl of Los Angeles, where hypocrites breed like rats in the walls. Never saw him again, packed his brand bags and split that night, left me with the rent and the echo of his wheezing piety. If I ever run into that creep, say at some juice bar on Sunset, preaching his gospel of green sludge, I'll tell him straight, bake me a cake, pimple-faced moron.